Less and more in a collective. I think I am going to pull some cards, so I might as well start it off with that. I tend to differentiate between what's about to happen. But there's all of this is self-expression, and there is more that desires to emerge. It is just so incredible to witness, fascinating, exactly how primed ego is. Right there. The second I wake up, the second consciousness returns to this physical form, it's right there. Right there, and immediately beginning to judge, to feel inadequate, to find inadequacy, and then to judge itself. Just all in one thing, right on the heels of that. To judge its own judgment. And for my true self, my consciousness, to just witness that and see it all happen so quickly, so instantaneously, just about, as the consciousness is returning, as I am regaining consciousness in my form. Haven't even opened my eyes yet, and it's there. And I can feel it. It starts feeling, it starts creating that injection of what I would call anxiety. It's an unease. It's a dis-ease, right? It starts finding fault. Just immediately. And then again, finding fault with itself for that very process. And there's nothing to do. That's ego's misperception, again, that it needs to do something, whether that is something about else or something about itself. There's nothing to be done. It's just the introduction of awareness. Awareness of this process, this happening as it is happening. Seeing, witnessing ego's dysfunction and letting it be there. Not telling it needs to do something different. Not telling it. That's just more ego, right? That's just more ego on top of it, saying this shouldn't be this way. This feeling shouldn't be here. This thought shouldn't be here. Or this other thing should be, it should be like this. Any of that. That's just more ego. More ego finding fault with itself, finding fault with some detail, some condition of the moment, because it is itself a condition in essence. The state of ego is conditional. But it has been very empowering and more clear in the past 2 days. Time is not really a thing, but 2 days of experience of clock time, right, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, which I think is great, of witnessing this process more obviously, more clearly, feeling and understanding that feeling is ego's. And the judgment of the feeling is ego's. That thought or feeling that it shouldn't be there belongs to ego. And just stepping back, allowing that space for those things to exist, but the detachment from them, the disidentification, de-identification from that. It's not personal, it's ego. It's not wrong. It's allowed to be. It's just not me. And just watching it all play out, watching ego's flair for the dramatic, perhaps one could say, propensity towards unhappiness. It's just primed for judgment, for unease, for pointing out some dislike, for having a dislike in the first place, and then for disliking itself, because that's a part of that whole tangled process, and just seeing that this leads nowhere. This is a road to nowhere. It's okay. It doesn't have to lead anywhere. I am not a part of it. I'm just witnessing this dog chasing its tail, the snake eating its tail. It is that sort of process. It's fascinating. And the more frequently I am in this place of witness and able to maintain this place more steadfast because of the greater lack of identification with ego and all that it's doing, all of its turmoil, the more peace that I feel, the more stable that I feel. These sensations are still here, certainly. A lot of it right here, right in that sort of junction of solar plexus and heart. And I can feel the discontent, but just the awareness that it is not mine, again, creates that space, that step back from it, where it's allowed to exist, but I am not so burdened by it. I am not affected by it. I'm not so much under its spell. It's not some absolute thing. It doesn't really have any meaning. It's there. It's there. It just doesn't matter that it's there. All that matters is this awareness. And all it takes to create that sensation, that lessening of intensity, that spaciousness, is the awareness, is just being aware that it's ego, that I now have cat hair in my eye. Again, in the moment that is introduced into awareness, that, oh, it's ego, it separates from me, from the truth of me. I become, stepping back into my awareness, identified with that awareness, with the space, with the observer. And that which is being observed, be it an event, a situation, or a feeling, a thought process, any of those things, becomes clearly the object and not the subject observing. It becomes clearly not myself. And it is, of course, again, contained within, because all is self. Everything that exists is within me, but it's able to, because of my realization of the truth of me being the container and not what is contained within it. It's fascinating. There was even a moment yesterday where ego piped up and said, if you don't feel these feelings, how are you going to do the feeling thing? How are you going to channel energy? How are you going to, because it's interpreted emotionally? And then the realization immediately of, that's ego. That's ego. I feel that. That's ego. And on the heels of that, this understanding of no, the further I remove from ego, again, not killing it, not destroying it, stepping myself, who I truly am, my essence, back from it. And then I can see it more clearly. And the result is a greater sense of stability, a greater sense of peace, a greater sense of clarity. And actually, I'm filtering out the chatter. This process helps in identifying ego and the emotions, the feelings, the sensations of ego, which it is creating. And by creating the space between myself and them, now it's a clearer channel. Now the subtleties of other information, other energy, other data can come through more clearly, more obviously. It's tuning down this chattering side and increasing the volume on this side. It's a heightening of sensitivity. It's making the subtler sensations of other things being channeled in more obvious, a little less subtle, and so there's more detail that can be heard. But ego's feeling a lot of things, and I want to pull some cards because I didn't get to yesterday. I was a little busy. I might do 2 readings today. Who knows? Depends what I feel. There is tumult. I mean, there has been, obviously. And it's pushing now. There is a sense of separation between the situation, the emotional reaction, and the desired course. It does feel like there is space being generated. I'm talking about collective now. Between these things. Because it's pushing us forward. And like every good cycle, every effective process, there are stages to it. There's a stage of building tension, right? The pulling back of that rubber band. And in order for that rubber band to be pulled back, there has to be something holding on. Or the building up of pressure, that type of thing. Again, in order for the pressure to build, there has to be sort of a frictive, a containing element, something that is restrained. So, again, we have this tension, which is allowed to be built by resistance, in essence, some sort of restraining element. And now we have the introduction of something that loosens, and loosens rather quickly, rather dramatically. If that rubber band had hooks on either side, the hooks are being released, or at least one is being released. If that pressure cooker was reaching peak pressure, a small crack has formed, and now that crack explodes apart. It's the introduction of that element that allows the rapid release of pressure. And with that rapid release is a rapid expansion, is a rapid motion forward. The nodes have changed signs. The North Node is in Aries. That's an introduction of some pretty fast forward motion energy. It's new, it's fresh, it doesn't give a fuck. It wants to do something different. It wants to change. It wants to help us change. It wants to bring change, to enable that. It is the node of destiny. It's destiny energy, for lack of a more scientific descriptor, flying at us fast now, where it was stuck, where things were stuck and stagnant and balled up in tension with Taurus. Now they are breaking loose explosively. And I think there was also an aspect between Mercury in Leo, it's a square, and Jupiter in Taurus, if I'm not mistaken, which is exactly that. It's a creation of boldness. Mercury in Leo is very confident. We have a lot of Leo energy that's sort of coming in, but then we also have Venus going retrograde in Leo, which is this perfect blend, because all of it always is, this perfect blend of raised confidence, but for the right reasons. When I say right reasons, I just mean the less egoic reasons and the more soul-based reasons. The things that are actually good for us, that we intend for ourselves. Letting go of old ways of being, old outdated ways of being, archaic constructs and concepts and paradigms that were limited and falling apart and only keeping us stuck based on deception, based on illusion, based on ego, all of these things. They've been revealed, they are continuing to be revealed. That's not what they seem. And the more that we see this trick, we go through the natural phases, first of being shocked and hurt and betrayed, and then the decision of clinging. Do I cling to it anyway because it's what I know, even though I know what it is now? I have seen the devil in it. The devil you know, that sort of terminology, which is the most ego-based phrase. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. Now you know that, devil. Thank you. Let me go forward and move on and take this knowledge and walk forward with faith into the future, unafraid. Not afraid and clinging to something that I know is not good for me. That's so twisted and so ego and so shadow. And it's funny, really. Maybe not so much when you're stuck in that illusion. But all of it is for a purpose and nothing has ever gone wrong. Again, the more suffering that we generate for ourselves, the more we are adding to that tension and that friction that is creating the desire for that propulsion forward. The more we have held ourselves in resistance, the greater that expansive power becomes. And it takes less and less to trigger that. It becomes this hairpin trigger, this expansive process, because it's natural, because it wants to take place. When you wall up a whole bunch of water behind a dam, it does not take much to bring that dam down. Just a tiny little section, just a little hole broken in it, and the whole thing starts to collapse. It's what's happening. The collapsing of the dam. So I'm going to pull on it. I'm going to pull on the North Node, specifically moving to Aries. There's going to be another reading at some point having to do with Venus, and maybe even another one today, because we'll see. Because I miss doing this. And when I miss even a single day, I'm like, oh, the cards. I want to do that. It's very satisfying. And I want to pull on this. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the soulmate cycle, which I'm pulling on as a sample for general collective. Masculine energy is on fire. I don't have a better way to put it. It feels hot. It feels intense. It feels like lava. Feels a little bit like acid reflux, I'm gonna just say. And all I've had is water. So, I mean, it feels like that. Yeah, there's an urgency. 10 Pentacles at the bottom. Let's see what's underneath that. Oh my god, yeah. I was good. Should have just said it. It's all shit. It's all painful. Everything around the whole world is crumbling down. Everything, this whole life that was built is not our life. It's not ours. And we've been clinging to it. And the tighter we have squeezed it, the deeper that pain becomes, knowing I don't want this. This isn't me. It's not authentic. That's what I mean by it's not me. It's not my life. Of course, you don't have life. You are life. But when the expression of life around you is not a vibrational match to you, to the life that you are, you feel that disconnect. You feel that this is not indicative of me. This is not a reflection of my authentic self. That's what this is. And it hurts. It hurts to be continuously sitting in that. It's time to move. The Chariot keeps coming back. It is the card of Cancer. It's the card of the soulmate cycle, according to Steve's Love Tarot, right? And it's the card of time to get the fuck out. It is massive exodus energy. This is not balanced. This is not tenable. All of the energy has flowed out of this, away to something else, towards the authentic existence. Sitting in this just creates more pain. It's time to go, and it is creating that sort of suction effect. The further, again, that rubber band, the tension, the further that one stands in opposition by free will following ego, which operates typically in a fear-based fashion, the further one's true energy departs from that, and it has departed significantly here, the more that tension is felt internally, the more excruciating that pain becomes until something's got to give. And it doesn't take much. Again, it's a pin drop. This is a keg of TNT. This is a big fucking blow up waiting to happen. It's happening. Energetically, it's already happened. Look at that. Death. A big fucking blow, a big fucking change. The end of this, the demise of this, the destruction of all of this. And this is everything. This is the whole surrounding environment. This is every way that we're behaving, everything we've surrounded ourselves with. This is a whole personality. This is a career path. This is identification with self and form. It's not us. It's not authentically who we are, and it is over. It's over. It's long been over. And it is that feeling of being surrounded by incompatibility. I want to say wrongness. It's not really the word that I want to use, though. Nothing, again, in the universe is viewed as wrong, but it's that feeling of energetic mismatch. There is something off here. One of these things is not like the other, and that thing is me. I am not like this. All of this. One more. Queen of Wands. I don't want to be this. This is how I've been behaving. There's layers to this. The defensiveness, the reputation, the pretension, the superficiality, all that's what all of this is. It's all fake. It's all for the social media, for the pictures, for what it appears to be. But it is not what it appears to be. And there is an intense awareness of that. And an intense awareness that we have been behaving in a way that is not authentic. It's not accurate. It is not an accurate depiction of ourselves, and we're not happy with that anymore. There's something else pulling us. This is that incredible attraction as well, but it's a repulsion because it operates both directions. It's a repulsion from this. It's being attracted somewhere else. And yeah, we haven't done anything about it. We're also being forced to face it. We're being forced to see that in this energy. It's on top because it's time to make a decision. a new decision, a different decision. It is overwhelming to see that all of this is not what we want, but it's making it more clear what it is that we do want. Even if it's none of this, even if the decision is just it's none of this, that's still a decision, that's still a direction. Again, knowing what you don't want with clarity helps you know what you do want. Even if it's not a specific thing, you know by the feeling of it. You know, all of this doesn't sit right in my soul. This doesn't feel right at the core level. This is not my self-expression. And maybe I don't have the complete clarity on what that is yet, but I know it's not this. And so I move away from this. And no, that means I'm moving in the direction of the truth. Okay, there's a lot here. So let's talk about just why. And immediately, the Wheel of Fortune just falls out. Because it's changing. This is that slippery action energy. And it's changing, and it's rapid. It's rapid. This is not the slow-moving Wheel of Fortune. It's been a long time in progress to reach this point, to tick around to this point on the wheel, but it's here. And now it's just a tiny little click from dramatic change. It's time for this to change. God almighty, reinforcing that. The star at the bottom. Destined energy. It's the North Node bringing this in. And it is the kind of change, it is the kind of new that is very clearly beyond mortal control. It is active God energy. It's just the kind of energy that wipes a house off the map. And it's just gone. It's your whole life, everything that was there, all of your possessions, all of the identity of self that was wrapped up in those things, which wasn't really you, but you thought it was you, is gone. And now you're here. What are you going to do? None of that was you. It was removed because it was not you, because it was not a part of your path moving forward, because it was not representative of your authentic being, and you wish to be your authentic self. And so the universe, helping you out with that, says, let me assist you in the dissolution of your identification with this form, which is not you and not representative of you, so that now there's nothing standing in the way of your reaching that knowledge of yourself. I don't know where I'm putting it. I'm just going to stick this back. I see the sun poking out. That's some massive, massive, unstoppable energy. The compass is aligned. I don't know why I want to say that. Yeah, it's time to go. We have a new heading. We have a course. Again, we might not know what's there. When you have a heading on a ship, you're trusting that heading. And back in ye olden days, right, you may not even know how trustworthy that was. Somebody somewhere said, I found land. I found land, and it's at these coordinates. And you're going off of that one guy's coordinates and going, all right, this is the direction. We're heading towards land. We know it's not this way. Again, we know it's not these directions because it's all open ocean. And we went that way really far and we didn't hit anything, and we went that way and we didn't hit anything. Or maybe we hit something, but it wasn't what we were looking for. All of that is helping us refine our direction here. We built this life. We had this experience. We laid these foundations. We worked with this. And now we're to the point where we've reached the culmination of this. This seed has borne fruit, right? And we're looking at the fruit going, oh, this is not what I want. I put in all of the effort and the work in cultivating this, and it's just not what I want. And so nothing went wrong. That is incredibly valuable information, and not a thing to be judged, not a thing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about, not a thing to hold up in court, to take to court, to indict. There's nothing wrong. Nothing went wrong there. You gained that information. You experienced that contrast. God bless your willingness, and God does bless it. Source is so grateful and excited and thrilled in your willingness to experience contrast and to go all the way through with it, to go into the details of it, to really see, well, is this, I don't know, maybe I can't make this work. Nope, I can't. I tried for a year, for 5 years, for 10, for 30 years, and it's not it. It's not it. Now I have incredible clarity. The deeper into that contrast I went, the more clarity I gleaned about the contrast, and the more information, the more specific that detailed coordinate, that new heading becomes, because of my willingness to experience the other. But now it's time. It's time to turn around. It's time to realize this is not the direction. This is a dead end. So I go a different way. This helps me to reorient myself in energetic space and move someplace else. And it's time to move. It's time to move. We have gathered the data from this location, from this contrast, from this set of experiences, and it's time to set out on the new journey towards the desired, which we now have greater clarity about. It's time to be open to receiving that. There's the fuck. I knew it was coming out, because this is dramatic change energy. You don't get that kind of damn breaking sensation without a tower. I'm taking this. Yeah, it's the card of the connection, and it's been a card of the connection. It was the card of the connection in the read I pulled on my connection personally to the last runner that I had. So that's fun. And yeah, it's all falling apart. And there's the dam breaking. It doesn't matter that it's not a 10, it's a 9. 9s are the end. It's still that just the wall is coming down. It's crumbling. We cannot maintain this resistance. We could never keep it up forever. And we're reaching that point where that crack has formed, right? We're tired of fighting this. That crack has formed. And it's just widening and widening. Now the more we try to hold it in, the bigger the chasm becomes. The more pressure is pushing through. The more we are trying to push against it, the more it's pushing back against us. And this is not a fight that you're going to win. Go with the flow of the energy. That's all anybody ever needs to know, is just go with the flow. When you feel that sensation, there's a difference between running from bad feeling and following positive feeling. Following positive feeling through the fear. Fear will tell you, sit in this. No, but it's scary out there because we don't know what's out there. So keep trying to rebuild this tower. Yes, it's falling apart as you're building it, but just keep going, because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. That kind of bullshit. No. Whereas your true guidance will say, yeah, this is kind of scary and we don't know what's out there, but this is happening for a reason. It's all falling apart. And that's just what it is. It's falling apart. Go with the flow. Let it fall apart. If it's meant to continue, then it will rebuild. It will rebuild itself. There's no effort or struggle or strain that we need to introduce here. Let this fall apart. If this foundation is meant to continue, then or the structure is meant to continue in some form. It's not meant to be in this form. Let it collapse. This structure is unstable. This foundation is weak. That's why it's falling apart. Let it fall apart. And if it is meant to carry forth in a new incarnation, it will do that. It will reincarnate itself in a new, more stable way. But us trying to force it to stay isn't it. And that's where all the tension and the suffering and the yada 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 comes from. So it's time to let this fall apart. Whatever is falling apart in your life, let it dissolve. If it is meant to continue on, it's not meant to continue on in that form. It's meant to be reborn in some other fashion. And if it's not that, then it's something else that is trying to be birthed into your existence, into your experience of reality. But it can't get in while this old structure is standing in the way. It has to fall apart. That is what is happening. And a lot of it is internal destruction. A lot of it is external destruction as well. And simultaneously in many cases. But it's just, let the transition take place. You, the truth of who you are, see, we only fear the dissolution of these forms when we identify ourself with the form. Then it feels like a loss of self, but that's not you. That's a form. What you are is witnessing this entire process. Your being is stable, it is secure, it is continuous, it is eternal, and it is well. Even the dissolution, the destruction of this physical form that you call your body, that many people identify as themselves, which is not themselves, even the destruction of this is not the destruction of you. You continue. You carry on. You're unaffected by this. This could keel over, cark it at any given moment, and you're fine. You don't come to harm. You continue, and you continue being well and stable and very much alive. Alive. Let me reinforce that. Alive. What's in the 3D position? Movement, 8 of Wands, communication, expansion, and a direct escalation here as well. This is flowing. Go with the flow. I like this very much in the 3D because it is a surrendering. The flow is happening in the 3D. It's undeniable. It's just moving through us. It's taking us. There may be some resistance of ego, and surely there is, but it's not stopping it. It can't. But I feel like that's being realized. That's being consciously acknowledged. I like that very much. It is that sort of creation of distance in some sense, of at least the realization that I can't stop this, and my trying to stop this is driving me crazy. So my only choice is to let it happen. Let it happen. What's in the soul? 8 of Cups. Walking towards it. Exactly that. If I want to feel good, I got to focus on where the good feeling is. It's not here. It's not here. And my trying to make it here, trying to rebuild it here, trying to somehow derive it from here is not working. My only choice, if I want to feel good, is to face a new direction. Again, I have the information. This is the perfect imagery, exemplification of I experienced the contrast, and now it's time to take the data from that, to take the jump from that, to direct my course. This is the direction now I walk. This is contrast, I walk the other way. It's not a judgment of it, it's not an indictment of it, it is acknowledgement of what is here. What is here is not authentic to me. It is not my desire. It's not wrong. In fact, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful to have experienced it, and experienced it deeply, fully, viscerally, to the point that I was trying so hard to keep it going. But the universe and my soul said, it's time to move on from this contrast. You've done all you can here. Excuse me. You've learned what this is, and what this is something that is now ready to fall apart so that you can move on, so that you can take this information and move forward in a new way. towards happiness, towards the 9 cups. And it's time to take that journey. What's the hidden message of the universe? Jeez Louise. That's... I'm actually speechless. I mean, it's justice. It's everything. It's everything that was just said. And it is the universe saying, reinforcing, yes, I am bringing these towers down. I am bringing these forms to collapsing. I am helping ego dissolve. I am helping shadow dissolve, because that was requested by you, because that is what was asked. And you, divine, deliberate creator, receive what you ask for. And because all of this is for the highest good, which is also the path of your highest joy. It is the path that is the most highly good for you and the most good feeling. Golly. And yeah, I mean, it's just, this is not stoppable. This is so clear. It is that house being wiped away. It's an act of God. This wasn't for you. This wasn't for you. It was for you while you were experiencing the contrast and learning the lessons, but now it's time to take that information and move on to something new. No longer being allowed to sit in this. The tower is collapsing. Because we said so. Because you asked for it too. And now is the time for that to be enacted. Everything is being brought to balance. There's just no missing it. It's being brought to balance whether or not anyone realizes it, whether or not they are really allowing it. The resistance can't be sustained. The universe always just takes the path of least resistance. It doesn't matter how much resistance we have had to this happening. It doesn't matter how much resistance ego has to its own dissolution. It's really just adding to the force of the universe. Again, it's building that pressure in the pressure cooker. It's putting more water behind the dam. It was always going to reach that point where it just couldn't sustain any longer, and it collapsed. All structure is unstable. The more we have tried to shore up this structure, the more we have added to the instability of it. The heavier it got, the more likely and quickly it was going to collapse. And now it's collapsing. It's coming down. Make no mistake about it. Justice is served. All karmic debts are paid. Karmic debt is just an imbalance of energy. Again, that rubber band has stretched a great distance and been held there for a long time. This is a dramatic release. What's in the final outcome position? Dramatic release. Did you think it was going to be anything different? It had to be. It had to be a positive flow. There's just no way it can be otherwise. Ace of Cups. It's a flowing Ace of Cups. It's a dramatically flowing. It is the water flowing out from that dam. Now that it's broken. It's a deluge. And it sweeps everything else away. It is unstoppable. A breaking free of emotion. It is emotional communication. It is individuals at many levels speaking their emotions, being honest about them to themselves, primarily because they can't do anything otherwise anymore, because it's just not working. It hurts. It hurts. That 3 of Swords behind the 10 of Pentacles in the pre-shuffle, everything We want to express this to everybody, because there's a realization that this is where the relief is found. It's the only place the relief is found, is in admitting to the contrast, admitting to, this is not me, this is not what I want to continue. This is not how I want to be moving forward. I want to be me. I want to be my authentic self. This is not it. It's falling apart. I'm letting it fall apart because it's not supposed to continue. Nothing bees that is not meant to be. And everything that is meant to be is. We can trust that. We can rely on that. We can just go with the flow of that. Whatever is collapsing, whatever is being removed from your life, whether that is external in appearance to yourself or internal, it's not meant to be carried forth. And there is a new thing being brought in. This is powerful. I love this. This is fabulous energy. And I'm going to clarify with the animals, because that's what they want to do. And it's the sun at the bottom. Yeah. I'm getting that song from Annie. The sun will come out tomorrow. We're walking into it. We're walking towards the sun. We're realizing, again, it's not here, but we can see it. And we can see it clearly now. There's no mistaking the new direction. Yeah, ooh, fear holding us back, absolutely revealing the devil energy, revealing what has been holding us back. We can see with clarity where we've been stuck, where we've been stagnant, where we've been letting fear rule us and keep us small and keep us diminished. Shining the light on that devil. We see it. And we're not happy with it. We don't want it. We're not taking it this time. Seeing also how ego has played the role in this. Ego and shadow operate as one. It's a whole lot of Burger Kings seeing their bullshit. Yeah, that's here. I mean, I am pulling on the runner cycle, the soulmate cycle, so the runner chaser energy is a part of this. But it's bigger than that. I mean, this applies at the collective level. It applies internally, which then, of course, expands without. Energy is always connected and it's always in layers, and what is within becomes what is without. They are mirrored. What's under that Burger King? The hermit. Yeah, the soul is waking up. The soul is taking charge and going, I don't care for this. I don't care for this behavior. This isn't me. All of this ass-hattery, this tomfoolery, all of this pretending and pretension, and again, holding back because of fear, all of that bullshit about the devil, you know. No, it's bullshit. It's very clearly bullshit. We're not going to take it anymore. That song too. What's on top? Yeah, we're not going to take it anymore because the heart chakra is open. The feelings are being fueled. It is that bursting through the dam energy. The emotions are not stopping. And the more pain we feel over here, the more it's directing us someplace else. Not in running from the pain, in learning from the pain. Running from the pain is what we've been doing. Running from the pain is how you stay in pain. By pretending it's not there, by dulling it, by numbing it, by repressing it. When you acknowledge and you feel it, you let it be felt, then you get the full picture and you get the information about this new direction. You go, oh, this sucks. This hurts. I've been pretending. I've been holding my hand on the hot stove and just putting lidocaine on it, trying to keep it from hurting. No, it hurts. Let me not do that anymore. That's the information. That was the whole point. That's what I'm here to learn, is not that, something else. Tell me about the tower. Let's talk about the tower. Saw the moon. Wow, that was very quick. Yeah. Not happy with our decisions. And getting a major kick in the butt, kick in gear to do something different, to make a different choice. To not keep renewing the pain. What's on top? Oh, wow. Okay, they came together. Both of the cards with butterflies in this deck to make a different choice, a choice that's based on emotion and what we truly want, what actually feels good, what feels authentic to ourselves, listening to the soul, listening to the heart. Incredible transformation, incredible change. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What's red with that? Yeah. It's the Three of Swords come back. To make a different choice that is not this, that is not continuing to sit in this. And it's because of this. It's because of how long we've sat in the pain. It's just ripped us to shreds, literally, in this deck. That's what it is. But because of sitting in that contrast so long, it's generated an incredible amount of pressure for this bursting forth to take place. And it's happening now. It's time for a new choice. It's time to choose something other than pain, because now we've been forced to face the pain. We've been forced to feel it. Where for a long time, that Burger King type energy, the King and Queen of Wands energy, can ignore this because it's got the reputation, it's got the surrounding, and it's deriving some satisfaction from that in an ego-based way. It's no longer enough. It's not working. And there's the realization that all of this shit isn't really doing it for me. It's all fake. It's not me. I can see how it's all just been a big act. And I've been surviving off of this tiny, tiny sliver of love, mostly from other people patting me on the back for my pretending, for what they thought I had. It sucks. It's not working anymore. It's not going to work. It's all falling apart. The choice is being made here. The choice is very clear. Do you stay in the burning tower or do you jump out? Even if you stay in the burning tower, that tower is still collapsing. You still end up on the ground. The universe is forcing a hand here. And that does not mean a specific choice. It does not. It just means forcing a change. The energy has changed, it's shifted. This old energy is going away. It's gone. It can't be sustained. What that looks like moving forward is not one set thing, but it is different. It's new and it's open. It's flowing. It is pushing people into going with the flow. So let's talk about that. Oh, that cat here. Tell me about the Eight of Wands here. Strong suggestion of communication. Again, what kind? I'm not here to predict that. But some sort of communication. Expression. Open expression. Emotional expression. And it is external. It's not just internal. It's external. But again, even if you've lied to somebody, and that's a karmic energy, right? That's an energetic imbalance. There's the Ten of Pentacles come back right after this Three of Swords. Even if you've lied to somebody and you feel this pull, this natural pull to balance that energy by telling the truth, you don't technically have to talk to that person in the 3D to balance that energy. Yes, that is strongly suggested, and if you have a means to do that, then by all means do that. That will feel the best at the soul level. But it is possible to bring that energy into balance by admitting to that lie within yourself, acknowledging that's not how I want to behave, I don't feel good about that, and then having a 5D conversation with that energy where you are admitting to them, this is what happened, I lied to you or whatever, and I'm sorry. I want this truth to be expressed to you. Because in some cases, you know, we don't have access to that person. Maybe we don't have any way to contact them. Maybe they passed away. Things like that. Maybe we can't have a 3D conversation with this person, but we need to resolve this energy. You do that in the 5D. That can happen. So I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. I know it's not what everybody wants to hear, but it's how the energy works. However, if there is a way for someone to communicate in the 3D, the universe is strongly pushing for that. And there's a strong desire in the soul for that as well. And it's everything. Everything feels wrong, and everything that feels wrong is pushing us to move towards what feels right. What's underneath that? Burger King. This life has been built on pretense. It's a facade. It's all a facade. Know that too. If there was any question, it's all a facade. I'm just leaving that there. What's on top? The Star again. Oh. North Node energy, putting in work. It's so extremely clear that this has to change. This has to move. Something has to move. Something is changing. We are changed. We are changed within. We are no longer content with being driven by ego, being driven by fear. We see how following that has created this superficial exterior appearance. It's reflecting to us because your external world is just a reflection of your internal world. If your external world is filled with superficiality, it's a reflection of that within you, which is not you. It's ego. It's just indicative of, oh my God, this hasn't been me. I haven't been running the show. Ego's been running the show. And ego's not you. But it's time for me, for myself, my soul, my true authentic being to take the reins. And that means all of this falls apart because it's not me. Let's ride with the Star. Yeah. 9 of Swords. Another end. 9 being the end. There's layers to this. My leg is falling asleep because of the cat sitting on it. Okay, your big butt's gonna slide onto the reading here. That's okay. That's okay. There's layers in this. I mean, it is a whole lot of, oh my God, how did this happen? Waking up. And that is what happens when the soul awakens, when we become consciously aware. We look around us from the soul, from our true eyes, and go, oh my God, how did I let this happen? I was so asleep. I was so not here. I was so not present in my own life experience. I was running on autopilot, ego, autopilot. And now that I'm awake, I don't care for the things that ego has created around me. It's time to get a move on. But again, nothing has gone wrong. It takes a tremendous amount of that unconsciousness to just reach that point. It takes a lot of that suffering to push us into this place where we don't want to suffer anymore. There's something, I actually want one more card there. Yeah, it's illuminating. We've pushed this anxiety down for a long time too, pretending that that isn't there. It's time to acknowledge what ego's been doing. And to see that this path that we've been following is just, it's not our path. It's ego's path. Again, at the broader level, you're always on your path. You can't fall off of it, but this is contained within. And this is the time of realizing this course that we're following, this guidance that we've been following has been ego the entire time. You can always tell when it's fear-based, when it's anxiety-based, and you're operating in a way that says, I don't want to feel this anxiety, how do I stop feeling the anxiety? I don't want to feel this fear, how do I stop feeling the fear? And then ego will tell you, here's how you stop feeling the fear, which only ever puts you in a situation that then perpetuates and generates more of that energy, because that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to feed itself. It is, in fact, creating the anxiety. It's creating the illusion. It's going, oh, look at this big scary thing. You want to get away from this big scary thing? Let me show you the way. And all that ever does is feed that energy. So now it creates another specter in the future. We're becoming wise to this game. That this isn't working. This isn't getting us anywhere. Again, following the fear, following the anxiety, which is really what we're doing when we're running from it. We're actually just letting it guide us, letting it rule us by manipulating us into running from it, that type of thing. It's only led us deeper into the pain and the unhappiness. And now we're seeing, well, I may not know the right course, but I know it's not this. And that's where it's there to serve us. That is where the contrast and the pain serves us. I know what I want. It's not found this direction. I know the freedom from anxiety, the freedom from unhappiness is not found this direction, because I've been going this direction and there's just more of it here. There's got to be another way. This is only perpetuating it. I'm only getting deeper into this pit. So my information now, my guidance now is to stop this and to turn around and just go the other way. If running from anxiety is only generating more anxiety, then let me not run from it. Let me do the opposite. If running from fear is not releasing me from fear, and it never is, because you're running from it as an attempt to control it. You're saying that fear shouldn't be there, and you're trying to stop it from being there. That's why you're running from it. When you do that, it has more control over you. So instead of trying to control it by saying it shouldn't be there and trying to make it not be there, you go, okay, it's there, so what? Let me let it be there. Let me just let it exist. And carry forth anyway. Whatever direction fear was pointing me in and saying, yeah, run away from me that way, let me go the other way. Let me just face into the fear and move through it instead of away from it. It's intense. It's intense. It is a part of that emotional overwhelm. But again, the emotional overwhelm is key to this. It is because of the deep repression of emotional energy that we found ourselves collectively in this place. And it is the rapid and dramatic release of that emotional energy that helps us break loose from that pattern. It all serves in just the right way. Why is this Eight of Cups here? Tell me about this Eight of Cups, please. Oh, this is longer than I thought it was going to be. Holy Moses. I know I did some talking in the beginning, but golly, there's just a lot. This is a lot. It's the North Node. It's the Node of Destiny. This is big. This is big information. Queen of Swords, yeah, truths. Undeniable truths. Often painful, but that pain is serving us too. Again, it's creating that need to move forward, that I can't sustain this, I can't look away, I can't unknow this, I need to change, I need to do something different, I need to work in a different direction, I can't distract myself from this truth. What's on top? Oh, I keep getting double cards without meaning to. Ah, the Lovers and Four of Swords. That's healing. That is dramatic healing. Those are both energies of healing. And also that sort of breaking loose, where there was nothing, everything. Everything coming up now. Where we had shut down the soul and the emotional energy, now that's all there is. It's lit. Now it's, again, having that effect. When the brain, when the ego, when the mind has repressed the emotional energy for so long, it boils and bubbles, and then it explodes and it overrides the brain. And now it's leading. And it's making moves. It's leading in a big way. And it is time to go. Where we were stuck, where we were stagnant, no more. Clearly, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time for something new. Page of Wands. It's time for a new adventure. It's time to work with the soul. The soul is working with us. The universe is working with us in a stronger way, in a more direct way than ever it has before, because it's capable of it now, because we have asked again, when enough of us have surrendered and we have free will, the concept of free will to the divine will, and we are asking for divine intervention, not to specifically change a circumstance. We're asking to be divinely guided. We're asking, let my free will be in alignment with the divine will. Let that happen. I am using my free will to say, I surrender free will. I want to work in service of the divine plan because I know that's for my highest good and joy and the highest good of all. So let that be. That opens up the universe in a new way to inject things, to assist us more directly, to say, okay, the universe can't go against your free will. You are the divine. You are the divine deliberate creator, and what you say goes. And if you're using your free will to do whatever you're doing, then that's what you're doing. The universe flows around and it keeps adapting, but it can't work directly with you when you're not asking to work with it. When you ask to work with it, now it's on. Now it's on like Donkey Kong. And it is direct divine intervention. And the universe saying, yes, the more that you are open to receiving from the universe, the more the universe can deliver to you swiftly, directly, undeniably. And that is happening in a big way. I'm speeding this up just a little bit, but the focus was here. The focus was in the mental, in the 3D position. Let's talk about justice. Jonah's laying on the soul now. He's keeping it nice and warm with his big fuzzy butt. Let's talk about justice. Why is justice here? It is a continuation of just... The judge is back in the courtroom. Court is in session. We have opened up to the universe. We have asked in a powerful way that divine justice be delivered, and so divine justice is delivered. 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands. And just what was under that Nine of Wands over here? It's a Fool and an Ace of Swords. New truth, new beginning, time to move, all of that energy. Again, breaking through, breaking through. Breaking news. I get that sense too. It's happening. What are breaking news events about? Sudden dramatic changes, things that people didn't expect and that suddenly happened. That's what this is. It's time. Yeah, breaking through. No more question about it. Pushing forward, making that decision, following that impulse. It's happening. It is this sort of breaking through the veil energy too of the universe, directly interacting. It's always flowing around the resistance, but the resistance itself is becoming so thin for a number of reasons. Primarily because it's time, and because we have asked for this again. There is a specific and nuanced difference between the universe flowing around your resistance and you acknowledging there is resistance and asking the universe to flow around it in a stronger way. Asking the universe to flow to you, knowing how this works, knowing the universe has always been supporting you, even as you were completely unconscious to it. But now that you're conscious to it, you're asking for it. And your asking creates a bigger opening. It brings this wall down more quickly. What's on top? Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands. I love this. I love this so much. It's breakthrough and powerful cards of communication. Justice is communication. Eight of Wands is communication. It is a dramatic turn of events, a dramatic balancing, a redirecting of this flow, a new expansion. The choice, the universe helping us make this new choice by removing all the other options and saying, look, we get it. You had a hard time with this. You were unconscious. You were following ego, all of this stuff. We get it. Your soul wants to make a different choice. Your soul has asked for this, the making of this choice to be easier for you. It doesn't want to make the same, it's not a mistake, but it doesn't want to fall in the same pit again. It's done that. It's done that many times. It's saying, look, this is my lifetime. This is the one. I want to resolve this karma. I want to wake up. I want to see differently. I want to be differently. I want to be myself. I want to be in charge, says the soul. I want to be in charge of my own being. Help me, universe, in whatever way that you can. Please assist me with making this come about. And the universe says, I got you. I got you. Let me assist you with that by removing all of this other extraneous stuff. All of the stuff that yourself, oh, it's not under here anymore, but what is under here? Because I'm curious. It's more wand energy. I was looking for that King of Wands again. All of this stuff that you thought you were, this, the personality, the mind, the ego, all of the things surrounding you, your career, how you present to the world, all of that stuff that you thought you were, it's falling apart. It's gone. And when the forms dissolve, you remain. And you realize, I wasn't in the forms. I'm not in any of that stuff. This is me. This is my authentic being. Thank goodness this other stuff collapsed, because now I know who I am. And I am eternal. I'm not in these forms. I'm not in any of this. None of this matters. None of this is real. My authentic self is right here. It is being. It is awareness. And now I can carry this presence moving forward. I can make choices in this physical world of form, because I am here still. I am incarnate here. And I can make choices to flow into forms from this authentic standpoint, not from the egoic standpoint. And now it's all infused with spirit. It's infused with authenticity. It is an accurate reflection of me. Let's read with the Eight of Wands. Four of Wands. New, long-lasting stability because of this. When what you do is infused with what you be, then that's a stable form, as it can be. All forms still, excuse me, they are bound to dissolve in some way. But just like the universe, when you allow the small dissolutions to happen, they continue. The broader form is more stable because of it. It's like your body. The cells in your body are constantly dying and replacing themselves. If they didn't do that, bodies would not live very long. They would not sustain for any amount of time. This is how the universe operates. It brings about the ends of various forms and allows them to be reborn and recreated in this continuous process, because it is never clinging to anything, because your cells are never going, oh, I don't want to die, and trying to stay alive, because they're not confused about who they are. They're not a cell, they are life. They're aware the dissolution of this cellular form means nothing. I continue. In fact, it is of benefit to myself for this form to dissolve so that I can be reborn. A new form can be reborn, and the broader being of life, which I am, again, continues flawlessly. It's time for that process to carry out, to carry forth in a new way in the physical world, in our internal emotional world as well, but in the physical world. It's time for the long-standing forms to dissolve so that new structures can be built that are built in a new way. They are built from the spiritual foundation, from the foundation of awareness, of presence, and because of this, they will be longer lasting. They will be the true long-lasting, stand the test of time forms, because they're not based on ego. And when parts of them begin to dissolve, we allow them to dissolve because we know those parts are being regenerated in a new way. And that is good for the health, the benefit of this broader being. There's also divorce energy here. Just throwing that out there because, I mean, it's justice in the Four of Wands and communication. Divorce is just a word. It does not have, so is marriage for that matter. It's just a word. It doesn't have to have anything to do with a relationship between two people. You can be married to a way of being and divorce yourself from that way of being. You can be married to ego and divorce yourself from ego. Divorce yourself from thought. That's happening here too. But it's dramatic. It's clear. Whatever thing has been long-term in our life and that we placed all of this stability and identification of self upon, it's collapsing. And we are being forced to remove ourselves from it for our own benefit, for our own good. Again, realizing staying with this is not good. It doesn't feel good. It's not happy. It's time to let this go. It's time to create distance, to allow distance between myself and this. And as I do so, I realize more of what myself is. When I was so close up on it, I thought I was it. The more distance I have from it, the more I realize, oh no, this is this other thing. This is not me. This is me. Tell me about this Ace of Cups. God, there's so much here. Ace of Cups. It's a new cup. It's new, it's fresh, it's flowing. It's been stuck for so long. There was a lot of stagnant energy there. There is a realization that the repression of emotion is not healthy. Speaking of, the Eight of Swords just falls out. And there at the bottom is the Empress. Hang on, let me rearrange this here. Eight of Swords, yeah. It's emerging. It is the butterfly emerging from the chrysalis. It is this realization that we've been stuck, that we have kept ourselves stuck, and we've kept ourselves back from following our true guidance. The true guidance lies in emotion. When we don't let ourselves feel emotion, we can't hear the guidance. All of the emotion is coming to the surface. Energetically, environmentally, it's that whirlpool, that spout being created, the heart chakras being opened. And as it's open and as we are forced to face the emotion, we're also coming to these realizations. Now we're receiving guidance now. We are receiving the guidance that we couldn't hear because the emotions were shut down. The heart chakra was closed. Now that the heart chakra is being open, the emotions are coming up. We cannot stop them. As that's happening, we are getting more guidance. And the guidance, again, the soul waking up, looking around, going, oh, this isn't it. This is why you're not happy. You couldn't figure out this wasn't it because you were denying the unhappiness. Now that you're accepting it, now that you're acknowledging it and feeling it, you know, oh, this isn't it. This is, and again, happiness isn't out there. It's not that type of thing, but it is that realization that this doesn't jive. What's happening here doesn't feel good because it's not authentic, because it's not me. Like it's not an accurate reflection of me. I know it's not me, but it's not even an accurate reflection of what I know to be me. The thinking is not the feeling. You cannot think a feeling. The brain is not meant to process emotion. The brain is being overwhelmed because of the influx of emotion, because of the rise of Empress energy, which is soul, which is emotional energy, all of these things. What's underneath that? The tower, I love it, leads us straight back to the top of the reading. I love it, I love it, I love it. Yeah, it's all coming down, it's all coming apart. Why is that Eight of Swords here? Exodus energy, it's coming apart. This is being dismantled. Truth doesn't live in the brain. Truth lives in the soul. It lives in the heart. Now that the emotional energy, the heart chakra being open, allowing the rise of emotion, allowing the overwhelm of emotion, it's overwhelming the brain, so the brain is being shut down and truth can get through. And the truth is it's time to go. The truth is it's time to move. It's time to express. It's time to speak on these truths. But mostly, it's time to follow them. It's time to follow them this other direction. And again, I may not know what this direction is specifically, but I know it's not here. And because I know it's not here, I'm going to go over there. That's how contrast always serves us, always gives us clarity, is always to our benefit. The more we know what is not, the more we know what we don't want, the more we know what we do. And it's intended to emotionally direct you. Again, not specifically. It's not about, oh, I don't like this situation, so let me have entirely the opposite of this situation. No, it's not that. It's how is this situation arising as an emotion within you? Just look at the emotion. What is the emotion? And yes, understand if it's an egoic reaction. Just look at it. Just look at it. Don't judge it. Don't tell it what it should or shouldn't be. If it's an arising of anxiety, if it's a arising of anger, just look at it and go, this doesn't feel great. What would feel great? The opposite of this. That's where I'm looking. Emotionally. You're not trying to change the situation. And in fact, in that moment, when you let the situation be what it is, and you acknowledge there's anxiety, there's grief, there's tension, whatever it is within me, and you let that fully exist, it automatically directs you by the pain towards the pleasure, towards the other side. This hurts. I don't want to hurt. What is it that would feel other than this? Not situationally, but emotionally. To feel connected. I feel disconnected. I feel unwanted. I feel unrecognized. I feel unloved. All of these things. What is it that I do want? To feel connected. To feel loved. To feel seen. To feel valued and appreciated. To feel that my being is enough exactly as it is. And as I am imagining into this place, I am imagining emotionally, and I am feeling those emotions. And now I have created that emotional manifestation within myself of those desired sensations. Now, because of my willingness to face and feel the undesired, I have created within myself the experience of the desired. And nothing has changed. And I see that nothing perhaps needs to change. But if there is a change, if I am seeing this, the perpetuation of this situation is within my control, I am allowing it to be perpetuated. It's not some other thing. I have a choice in this matter. Now I can make a new conscious choice from the place of consciousness, true consciousness, from my heart, and say, this situation is not serving. It's not serving myself to stay in it. It is not serving another self to stay in it. And I have a choice to depart this situation. So now let me leave this. Let me follow this good feeling over here. Not run from bad feeling, but take the information of this experience, of this contrast, and move in a new direction. Simply that. If you have the choice between flavors of ice cream, and you are tasting ice cream, and you taste Rocky Road, this is just me. I happen to not be a fan of Rocky Road. That's it. That's just what it is. It's not bad. It's just what it is. If I have all of this ice cream before me and I'm eating Rocky Road and going, I don't really care for this, I have the choice now to keep eating the Rocky Road and keep not really caring for it, or to go, you know what, this isn't for me. I am realizing I don't really like marshmallows in ice cream. Okay, let me try a different ice cream that doesn't have marshmallows in it. Now I have that information. There are lots of situations where we have that choice. Sometimes we don't have that choice. Sometimes you are served Rocky Road and Rocky Road is all there is, right? And then you have the choice, and it doesn't matter actually what you choose, to eat the Rocky Road or not eat the Rocky Road. You can eat it and be satisfied with it as it is and go, this is what is. I'm grateful to have ice cream. Or you can choose not to eat it and say, thank you very much. I prefer to just not have ice cream today. That's fine also. And not be upset either way. There's so much nuance, and I'm pulling on a very broad spectrum of energy and attempting to decipher and give advice to a very broad selection of energy. But that's what this is. It's all a balance. It is all a balance, right? You acknowledge the feeling, but acknowledge also that you are not the feeling, but the feeling is existing within you. And you're not pushing it away. You're not telling it shouldn't be there. You're acknowledging it. You're just letting it exist with some space between you and it. And when you have that space, then you can identify where it's directing you more clearly. If it is just this, you can see that it was generated by a thought, and it's this pattern of thinking, and you go, oh, okay, I don't need to listen to that thought. I can just let this exist. If it was created by something outside of you, now you have a different choice to make. First of all, is this a situation where you actually have an option, where there is some action you can take, or is it just what it is? When you engage the presence, when you just let there be space between yourself and it, you are able to receive the guidance. If that guidance is just surrender to the moment and let it be, then that's what it is. If that guidance is direct myself a new direction and move over here, then that's what it is. But all of that takes honoring the experience as it is in that moment, not pretending it's something else, not saying it should be something else, not asking it to justify or explain itself, just letting it be. And that includes, very importantly, the arising of emotions within you, letting those be as well. And they are arising dramatically. And there is a realization that repressing the emotion and pretending it's not there is not serving us. In fact, it's keeping us in these patterns. And those patterns are demonstrative in the physical realm as well. There's so much. It's impossible to touch on every layer of this. but it is powerfully transformative, and it's happening fast. Fast. Trust your heart to make decisions. When you are asked to make a decision, just follow what feels good and do it. Don't question it. Don't bring it into the brain. Don't ask your mind permission. Don't ask your mind for its opinion. Just follow the heart. Follow the good feeling. That's it. That is it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull 3 more cards for just a final from the universe. Anything else you want to say? Can you summarize this? Or any further advice? Whatever it is. And then this is the longest, reading that I have done, I think. But it was a lot. Didn't get very far because the Hierophant fell out and the 9 of Wands is still at the bottom. It's deeply spiritual. It is time for the arising of spirit. It's time for the return of spirit, of consciousness. Knight of Cups. For the flow of emotion. There's other levels here, too, of expressions of emotion that we have long withheld are ready to come out. It's time for them to come out. We're breaking out of these boxes. This box that we've built for ourselves individually and societally as someone who is not emotional, someone who is rational, who only follows logic, that kind of thing. That limited construct is not working anymore. It's just not, it's not satisfying to the soul. We need the emotional connection. We need the emotional expression. What's red with the Hierophant? The Sun. Yeah, that's where the freedom is found. That's where the happiness is found, is in being our authentic selves. We can only be our authentic selves when we are expressing authentically, when we are letting our emotions flow, when we are speaking our truths and sharing our cups. And it's time for that to happen. Underneath Queen of Pentacles and the Fool, there is a direct message about expression towards the feminine aspect, towards the divine feminine. But that's where the stability is found, again, is in the flowing of emotions. When we freely express ourselves, we're free. We are free. When we're not holding anything back because we're not afraid of how it's going to be received, we don't care about the outcome. We just be, and we be authentically, and we express openly, then you're liberated. You are liberated. Nothing holds you down. Nothing can restrain you. Nothing can get a foothold on you. When you are not trying to control anything, nothing can control you. You just slip right through. So just the core is surrender the control, and then you are liberated from all imprisonment. You become your unlimited self, and your unlimited self is your true self. And that's where all the good feeling is found anyway, is in just being your authentic being. Pathway to that is through surrender and allowance, deliberate allowance of what is in every moment, especially emotion. That's it. I'm gonna close it here. I could ramble on about this for days, but that is the entire reading. This resonates powerfully with me. I do intend that it resonates with you. I really, truly do. I would love to know. Leave me a comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined. Just flow. Just flow with it. Whatever arises, it's no threat to you. There is no threat in anything that exists. Just let it be there. Let it out. Let it fly. It's all good. Realize that you are unchained. You are unrestricted. You are unlimited. Your being is well. Intrinsically, it is stable, it is abundant, it is safe, it is secure, and it is loved. That's it. Have a beautiful, fabulous day, my lovely collective, and know that always and always, in every vector of time and space, I absolutely adore you. Take it easy.